Why don't you start out with this mutual friend?
I'll get to her later.
Uh-oh. Do tell.
We went to this mutual friend's house, me and my buddy. We were not invited, I don't think. We just decided to go
How
see
did you
what-
know about the party?
I don't know how we knew. Ed seemed to know. I didn't know about
You
it.
crashed the party.
Yeah, we
What you said?
crashed it. We was gonna see if there's any pretty girls there.
Apparently there were.
We didn't find any, so we left.
Where is the story, Lee?
No, we stayed. We were we were on our way to another party. But these gals, they had all kinds of wild games to play, so we decided we'd like to play.
You mean like spin the bottle?
Oh, yeah, that was,
Y'all played spin the bottle?
yeah, did you ever do that?
Scandal!
No.
How wild can you get?
Please, you didn't. Lies.
Then we played this one game, I think we called it,
Want me to tell
I'll get to it.
It's gonna take him 25 minutes to tell this little 5-minute story, I think.
Makes it more exciting. I think they called it Pony Express. No?
How about post office?
Post office.
Oh!
Now that's like Pony Express, only there's not as much horsing around.
Ba-dum-bum.
Yeah.
Ba-dum-bum.
This is interesting. So,
So I thought I'd get the girl that kissed the best, invite her on a date. And this girl, she came out there on a streetcar. I had a car. So me and my buddy, she was with another girl. They rode the streetcar. So you know.
We were invited to the party.
Big deal. We were live boys.
That's what you were. That's what you called yourselves.
And they were glad we came.
The Live Brothers.
they were
That's what the kids were calling it then.
So we invited them we'd take them home. Because we lived on the west side too. We found out where they lived.
Lived within 5 blocks of each other.
Didn't know each other. Went to the same school.
How is that
Skated
possible?
at the same roller rink every Saturday. In the winter.
Sometimes on Sunday too.
No, I never did go on Sunday. It was
You didn't?
Saturday.
Oh. So anyway, they checked with the hostess. And she says, these are terrific
So
guys.
what kind of guys are these?
These are terrific guys.
They're nice guys. You can ride home with them.
You actually checked with the hostess?
Huh?
You actually checked with the hostess
Yeah.
to see how the
yeah, 'cause
okay.
that, you know, I wasn't gonna
Get in the car with a stranger.
Hey, we knew the hostess too.
Oh.
That's why we went to that party.
Oh.
In fact, she just died 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
Who was it?
Marilyn Kirk was her name at the time.
Yeah,
That was-
she was our same age. She was a popular gal, very talented. I don't know, did she play music?
She was a dancer.
I know she was a dancer. I didn't
I
want to
never,
ask you.
well, I never did know of any music that she played.
Well, I didn't either, but I asked. So anyway, we took them home. And, before we let them out of the car, we asked them for a date for tomorrow night, the next day.
It'd be New
Day.
Year's Day. Yeah, this is New Year's Eve.
Oh.
Well, they jumped at that chance, cause that was the best offer they had.
How do you know?
Oh.
We just knew our abilities.
Oh.
Oh.
Whoa.
Did you now?
So we
Interesting.
went out to eat, and then we took a ride,
We went to a movie.
and then went to a movie. You get ahead of the story.
Did we take a ride?
You need to embellish it. Yes. You need to embellish it a little bit.
Don't leave out the good stuff.
Yeah. So, ladies, now the other couple, they never did they do
Well, I
anymore?
think they had another date.
Yeah,
We double dated another time.
yeah.
That would have been Eddie and Joanne.
Would have been,
That was Eddie, your friend, and Joanne, my friend.
right. He later became, assistant fire chief.
Oh, wow.
Indianapolis.
And, yeah,
He was a nice guy, and he married a nice girl.
they're still married.
Oh, wow.
I get emails from him all the time.
Wow.
They go to the,
Was he in our wedding? He
yeah.
was in our wedding.
Uh-huh. So we dated for a year, and I asked her to marry me.
And how did you ask her to marry you?
Jumped at that chance right away.
Actually,
I never
Have
had
any
no
better
chance to
offer?
back out or
Yeah.
think it over.
best offer I'd had. Actually, he had already signed up to go into the Navy. This was in January. He was to report to the officials in March. And that's, we dated until he left for the Navy. And then he was in boot camp. But after he got out of boot camp, he was stationed in Camp Perry, Virginia.
No, that was boot camp.
What did I just say? I said you were
Camp Perry, Virginia.
You
was
in boot camp. You were stationed at Camp Perry. Then you went on to Bethesda, Maryland, for
Right.
your medic training.
Right.
And after that, you went to Memphis, Tennessee.
A choice of 6 duty stations.
One of the
Because I scored high on the test.
and one of the options was Hawaii, and he wouldn't take that one.
Can you believe that? Single chance to go to Hawaii and turn it down.
She must have been quite a kisser.
I still ain't figured out why I did that.
I can't either.
What were the other 4 choices?
What year was it?
Well, one of them was the Marine Corps.
46.
So it's just after the war.
Yeah, the war was over. So, but he went in because they needed. Well,
The war was declared over in September of that year,
Right.
officially. And I was
already signed up to go. You
out.
enlisted.
I got out in January because they shortened my hitch. I had signed for a hitch.
What does that mean?
Huh?
A hitch. What's a hitch?
A tour.
A tour.
A tour of duty.
Oh,
You
okay.
signed up like for 2 years or 3 years
Got
or 4
it,
years.
got
Otherwise, you just go in the reserves, and then you gotta
You're in there
Do
for
so
so
many-
many years.
Yeah.
years in it. I didn't do that. I didn't want to do that.
Now that's what Alan is in, Kristen's husband. He's a Indiana
He's in
National
the
Guard.
He's in the reserves. I was in the regular Navy. My buddy Eddie, who was supposed to go in with me, the day that we went down to get sworn in, they didn't take him because he had some teeth that needed
Oh.
repaired. And they told him to get the teeth repaired and then come back.
Oh, wow.
Which he did. But when he came back, they didn't have that 2-year hitch anymore. They had done away with it. And he went into the reserves 2 months after I was gone. And 60 days later, they let all the reserves out. But he had to go to meetings for goodness knows how many.
Well, a certain
Years.
amount of time.
I forget how many. But he's a good guy.
So
How'd you propose?
how'd you propose?
How'd you propose?
When I was home on New Year's leave,
Yeah.
2 years later, I proposed to her on the way to the station going back to off leave.
And she said yes.
She didn't say.
Did
she
you get on your
allowed
knee?
Or anything. She just jumped at the chance.
Like jumped in your arms? What do you mean?
Yeah.
We were
Did you
in
have
the-
a ring
in the back
already?
seat of Forrest's car, weren't we? He was taking us to the train
Was he?
station.
Okay, that was
And that's when you asked me, because he had just gotten married.
a
And I think you were a little...
37 Pontiac. In the back seat of a 37 Pontiac.
How many carats was the ring?
Huh?
I don't care about the car. How many carats was the ring?
Well, he didn't have the ring then. He had
Oh.
to go back and work for 6 months and save his money to buy the ring.
And then I bought it and mailed it home and told her, I called her. I says, you're going to get a package tomorrow. Don't open it till I call you. So she didn't open it until I called her, and then she got the ring.
And
So
what
I
did you
was
say?
really proposed to officially over the telephone.
She threw the phone down and went screaming upstairs to tell her mom and dad.
Now, did you ask her dad first?
Huh?
Did you ask her dad first?
No. We didn't know about this.
Nobody did that
protocol.
back then.
Oh,
Oh,
I
wow.
never heard of anybody doing that.
wow.
I mean, I know it was
So
done
y'all
years.
created that, huh? Oh,
I
it's
don't
years
know.
before.
It just seemed like when our kids started dating, that was the thing to do.
Yeah.
Robert called my dad.
Yeah. All of our son-in-laws have asked us. Poor Daryl, he was, they took us out to eat, out to a steakhouse, and Daryl's a slow eater. Well, he ordered his steak, and it was gone before we cut into ours. He was so nervous.
Oh.
I don't
Well,
remember
the first one, of course, was Cheryl.
Jack.
Well, Dottie Weigel and myself, we had taken 2 cars of kids from church.
Youth group.
She had the girls and I had the boys in my car. And we had gone to visit Christian colleges. So we had gone to the one in Chattanooga,
Tennessee
Tennessee
Temple.
Tennessee
Temple.
Temple. We'd already gone to that one, and we were at BJ, and we were in the snack shop.
And Cheryl was a freshman and Jack was a senior, wasn't he? Or was he a junior?
I think he was a junior.
He was a junior because he had one more year.
And
In college, right?
Yeah.
and we were all sitting at this big table. All the kids from Colonial, which was in Northeast, were at the table. All of them that were in school.
Were you there at the time, Robert?
Yeah, he was.
I know you
But
were in
don't know if he
school.
was
Were
the
you at
table.
the table when Jack asked Frank?
None of this is bringing back any memory. to
Well,
me.
you may have
So
been
anyway,
tied up.
Jack was a year ahead of you.
he asked me for,
2
Oh, okay.
if he could marry
You're ahead of
Cheryl. I really was not expecting it, since she was a freshman. And I sat there for about 5 minutes before I even answered him. And then I said, is this one of your crazy Pollock jokes? And all the kids sitting at the table just roared. His face turned about 20 shades of red.
He didn't know what to say, did he?
Grandma, did you know that was coming? So it
I
shocked you
don't think
too?
Dottie did either.
Oh, Dottie was there too. John and
Oh, yeah,
Dottie were there?
She had driven the carload of girls, and I had the carload of boys, and we were taking them around to
I see.
colleges, I think maybe all the kids that we took to visit Christian colleges ended up going to a Christian college too.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So,
So
which
did you
was-
finally tell him yes?
I'm not sure I told him yes. Then. Did I?
Hey, I don't know. I wasn't
That's
there.
been a long time ago. That's been 40 years ago.
Yeah.
41,
41.
42, 42.
42? I don't know.
Yeah, 42. Because we're 41.
Kathleen's 41.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So did you guys decide that you wanted to have a big brood of kids, or you just...
No. Well, we've already had it. 8 kids
No.
by then.
No, before you guys started having kids, did you plan it that way?
No.
Well, I remember we did talk about it.
Oh, that was just talk.
Well,
You
she
weren't
We were-
serious.
she
we
thought
were
you
gonna-
were serious.
We were going to have 6 brown-eyed boys.
Oh, I don't think so.
That was the talk.
I'd never agree to that.
You don't. I don't. Whatever you say at times like that, you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
I'm afraid to ask
So the 2
questions.
blue-eyed boys, it just never worked out.
So you really didn't plan ahead for that?
Huh?
You really didn't plan ahead for how many kids you're going to have. They just happened.
Nobody plans on 8 kids. Who plans on 8 kids?
Well, that's not true. There are families today who plan like
They do?
that.
Like
yes.
the Duggar family.
Exactly. With their how many now? What, 19th
I
or
think
something?
so.
I don't know.
Who's that?
Why didn't you just round it off at 10?
Her dad came from 10 kids. My mom and dad both came from 10 kids.
My mother
Yeah.
came from 7.
So
Yeah.
we just never gave it a
Well,
thought.
we just came from 2, and he had 3 in his family.
3 that lived.
Yeah.
Besides that, whenever we found out we were going to have Cheryl, that struck me like a blow.
Why?
There was
I
1
just-
bedroom.
I was wrapped up in Robert.
Oh.
And I told Bernice, I says, I don't think I can ever have or love another baby the way I love Robert.
Oh.
But they came anyway.
And he loved them all.
Wow.
We
They
had to
were
do
all
that.
sweet. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, they were all ours. Well, I think, didn't Wes make all of the same remark? Only he was telling us, he said, I just love little Cooper so much that I just think we ought to have another one. I love these little kids. I love our kids. So he said that affected him differently than
Well, I knew that whenever you had another kid, you had to love them too.
No, you don't have to. You just normally do. It's normal.
Well,
If you got any sense.
I have to, so there you go.
Oh, you had to.
Well, my mom said she had me so Roslynn would have a plaything, something to not be bored by.
I did not say that. I said we don't want you to be her to be the only child.
She really just didn't want her to be bored.
I didn't want her to be spoiled.
And then look what happened.
You
She spoiled anyway.
She spoiled her anyway.
Jeez.
Oh, my girls weren't spoiled.
You
No,
couldn't help it if she loved you so much, could you?
I know. Wow.
They weren't spoiled. They're good girls.
Well,
They're the best.
Any other
girls ever.
unusual proposals?
huh?
Any other unusual proposals that you had to field?
No, they're mostly scared to death.
Yeah,
They didn't know what I was going to say.
yeah.
Did anybody really think you would say no? Did you ever say
I
no?
know that was
No.
my question.
Huh?
Did you ever say no to anyone that we don't know about?
No.
Mm.
In retrospect, there's a couple I should have, but
Keep that to yourself.
Here, here.
I found out you only get one chance, so
Oh.
you better make it good.
Your advice to your grandkids, huh?
Yeah. We'll work on them.
Wow. So, Grandma, did you have any? Clearly, you didn't have any better proposals, or at least you just didn't want to take those. Did you have other proposals?
I had two guys that asked me to marry them. And one I hadn't known that well, and I wasn't about to, answer him. And,
So when I came along, her mother decided she wasn't going to take any more chances, so she asked me to marry her. So I said,
Oh yeah, right.
So I says, okay.
Right.
Grandma Gracie asked you to marry. Yeah.
I doubt that seriously.
What was it she said? What was her terminology on that? Did you ever think about getting married or something?
well, after we'd been dating for quite a while, we came in from a date one night, and I think Dad and my uncles were all bowling, and there's Effie and Mother and Frances all sitting there. They always were together when night the men bowled.
Now they were all big cut-ups.
And when we came in, we said, what are you doing? And they said, oh, we're just sitting here planning a wedding. Whose wedding? Yours and Frankie's.
Oh,
I always
dear.
call him Frankie.
Well then.
So he just thought that was wonderful. Boy, here's a mother-in-law that loves me to no end.
See, she'd went out on a date when I was in the base with some other guy she knew that was in the army or something. He was home. Who was that? I don't think he knew him very well.
Well, actually, I dated his Effie's friend, Frida Cotton. It was her brother that had just gotten home from overseas,
Yeah.
and she wanted him to meet me. And we dated just 2 or 3 times.
But if you make an impression the first time, you don't have to worry about second and third and all that. You know?
Was that how it works?
Interesting. So you think you were a good kisser then?
Well, I didn't say that. I said she was.
Well, how did you make the impression then?
Well, I guess just being there.
His suave manner.
It's just that easy for you.
So now, Grandma, I want to hear your take on all this. What was your impression when he showed up at the party?
Well, I thought he was cute, and I was willing to date him, and but I wanted to find out something about him.
Yeah.
When I asked Marilyn, said, now this Frank and Eddie have asked us. They're asked if they could take us home, and I said, I want to check with you. Are these guys for real? She said, oh yeah, they're good guys. I've known them all through school.
Yeah, we had. So she knew a little bit about us.
She lived
We never-
right behind me on Richland. I lived on Reisner. She lived on Richland, the street west of us. And I never did run around with her very much. There were 4 of us girls that ran around together: Elizabeth, Laura, and Joanne, and
Yeah,
me.
but you skated a lot regularly.
Well, but Marilyn always included us. We'd gone to parties when she lived. She moved then out near Riverside,
Yeah,
and
that's where the roller rink was.
yeah. But that's we kept in touch with each other and do a few things together. Not too much. We would go watch her dance. Her studio would put on these dance recital things, and
She danced at USOs and places like that.
Oh, cool.
She was very good. She was a
she was
ballet
a
and
tap
toe
dancer,
dancer.
but she did ballet and all kinds. And she's a cute little gal. She's small. She's petite, and had a real good personality. And
So,
in
Grandpa.
fact, she invited us to. No, her daughter gave her a surprise 80th birthday party. Well, was it a surprise? I don't think it's a surprise.
No.
But invited a bunch of us West Siders to that. We got to see them at her 80th birthday party, which was
Oh,
3 years ago. And we were real glad we went, because that was the last time we saw her.
yeah, that's good. You got to go.
Mhm.
Because we went to the viewing.
Oh.
There was no viewing. They had cremated her.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
That goes all over me. I do
We
not
vetoed.
like that at all. Don't like.
We veto those, and if we know it in advance, we won't go.
Well, they did the same thing to Elizabeth.
Yeah, that's true of
She
them.
was cremated.
Yeah. I wonder if their kids ever paid him back. He died this last year.
So, Grandpa, were there any other girls that you thought about marrying before Grandma?
No, not really.
Just something told you.
I just, I was never going to get married.
Really?
Yeah, I decided that a long time ago.
Why?
I just didn't want to be burdened with them.
Because single life is super fun.
Right. Too much responsibility.
How did you know how much responsibility that would be?
I know that you guys ate.
Wow.
Huh?
When you used to say 2 can eat as cheap as 1.
If one don't eat.
Well, no, that's what you said afterwards, that you found out. I only found out that's not true unless one doesn't eat.
Wow.
We've had a good life.
I'll
A
say.
great family, that's for sure.
We've had we've been blessed.
Night, Ruthie.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.
Good live.
Toodaloo.
Now don't go dreaming about these horror stories you're hearing.
You guys have been blessed. Really, considering how long you have lived without really any major health crises or all kinds of stuff. You guys have avoided.
We had with Sherry when she had measles and syphilitis.
Yeah.
We didn't think she would make it.
Yeah.
And then Carolyn got hit by a car, drunk hit and run. Our neighbor tracked him down.
What happened to him?
Huh?
And what happened to
He
him?
spent a couple of nights in jail until he sobered up, and that was it.
Well, he got fined. How much, I don't know.
Well,
Did he help pay for her doctor bills?
But every hospital bill and doctor bill you sent to
everything
him.
was taken care of. Yeah.
Hmm.
I remember that.
Mhm.
He should have been thrown in prison for that. Driving drunk through a neighborhood.
Well, he really wasn't driving that fast, or she'd have been killed. She was in the yard. The neighbors said that she was in the yard. She wasn't in the street. We don't have any sidewalks, but we'll always tell kids, don't walk in the street, walk up in the yard. All of our neighbors told, if you're going by Pryor's, walk in the yard. Don't. So that was just a thing in the neighborhood that you don't walk out. Of course, there wasn't that much traffic then anyway.
But the fact that it was drunk,
Yeah.
In the middle of the afternoon.
it's pretty bad. Pretty bad. It's fortunate that she turned out to be okay.
Mhm. Well, she had a big gash in her forehead. I don't know, about 17 stitches.
Now, I was already out Navy before
Huh?
we had children.
Yeah.
No
And,
care.
I thought I could handle whatever came along. I found out I couldn't. When I told them I'd hold her on my lap to go to the hospital. That got me.
We finally told him, you step out there and be with your wife. They could see. Now, he was a medic. He saw all these things in the hospital that were horrendous. But, when they were having to dig grass out of her head. And she was screaming, and didn't they do any anesthesia or anything to deaden it?
I'm sure they did.
Well,
but I don't know.
It was taking them longer than they thought. They said, we got to clean this out. And it's taken us, longer than we
Well,
thought, because the more we dig, the more we find ground up in her, under her
Oh.
scalp.
And they did a good job.
Yeah, she didn't have any trouble. It healed.
She didn't have a scar that you can really notice.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd she
She
go,
did for a
Methodist?
while. Huh?
Did she go to Methodist?
Mm-hmm.
It kind of made her leery of outsiders, And
Be careful of the street.
I thought she never would go to school. She just screamed.
Then she turned out to
Finally,
be,
I said, I'm not taking her tomorrow. I can't take it anymore.
then she turned out to be a teacher.
Oh, the irony.
Here's the
So when
irony
did
in
she
that.
finally go back to school?
Well, she was,
Yeah.
this happened in the summer. When
Oh.
school started, she was healed enough. But that was her first year of kindergarten.
Oh.
Oh, kindergarten's
And she
horrible.
was just scared to death.
Well, yeah.
I don't know why.
I cried half the year, and my parents took me out
Well,
because I wasn't ready to go.
Mm.
And I had a mean teacher.
mm-hmm.
I remember, and I'm not joking. I had
Well,
a mean
they
teacher.
all cried a little bit, but she was the worst.
I didn't.
Oh, Connie cried. Well, did you go to kindergarten?
We didn't have kindergarten.
Yeah.
I say, because Larry, they didn't have it down to him. But when Carolyn started, they started kindergarten. Connie cried. Kathy was walking down the hall to classroom or something, and she heard Connie was standing up in the hall talking to Mr. Petzel, and just crying her eyes out. So Kathy went over and asked, what was the matter, and she asked Connie, what's the matter? And she said, he called me, what was it? He called me Miss Susie. And I'm not Miss Susie.
Oh.
That's hilarious.
And I don't know what.
Petzl was kind of a cut up anyway.
Yeah. Well, he
Well,
had
he-
little
He
nicknames for
generally
the
called
kids.
the girls Miss Susie. And
Yeah. The guys, little Johnny or something.
Talk about sensitive. That's funny.
Kids on the White River Facebook things, they inspected the concrete structure of the cafeteria block by block because they were disruptive during lunch hour, and he'd have them go stand on a block.
Yeah, they'd point out a block where you.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
One time, one kid got sent up there, and his best friend got done with his meal and just decided to go up and stand next to him so they could talk together.
I'll be your buddy. Kathy used to. They loved dill pickles, and I'd put dill pickles in their lunch if they had lunch meat. And one day she says, "Mom, could you put an extra pickle in my bucket? 'Cause this little girl that I eat lunch with always wants my pickle."
Oh.
And she'd give it to her.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's Kathy.
Yeah.
Big heart. She just seems so excited that her kids are all together. It's so neat.
Mm-hmm.
It was just so neat to see all Cheryl's kids around their table. I mean, it's for like, what, 5 or 6 years, she didn't even have a dining room table in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was so
I
neat.
remember when Robert brought you home the first time,
Oh, I do too.
all the kids, they
Lined
wanted
up
to flash the porch light.
They were all lined up at the door.
Lined up at the
Wait
door.
to see this
Yeah.
girl from California. I remember that.
Why
I
did they
was-
want to
oh.
flash the porch light?
So they wouldn't be kissing out there. They wanted to interrupt them.
Oh, I get it.
They wanted to line up and see me.
And so you let them, of course.
They were
Yeah.
always so friendly.
Well,
and so
we
nice.
flashed the flashlight.
I bet you did.
We were parked out there too long. Click, click, click.
Mhm.
Did you do that?
Yeah, you know your oldest son there.
Well,
No, that was on the night I proposed to you.
Yeah.
The first
Wait,
first
you
time we
proposed
got
in the
here,
car
we came
too?
right in.
Yeah. The
You
kids
proposed in the car too?
Yeah,
were in the car with the snowing and that.
because I
I
knew
thought
they
you
were all up and waiting.
That little post lamp out there was lit up and it was snowing and it was very picturesque, you know. It was really, I knew
Was
he
it
was
romantic?
going. Yeah, it was romantic. It was, the kids were all at the door looking out though, waiting to see what was going to happen.
They were.
And they wouldn't go away, so I knew I had to do it in the car because I was going to do it inside.
So you came with a ring.
Yeah, he had a ring.
I
Yeah.
had worked at the truck dock a couple of days and got enough money during Christmas vacation to buy
A
the ring.
He asked me what I thought about an engagement without a ring, and I said, not much.
I ended up having to borrow a little bit from one of my buddies.
to get the ring out of layaway.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I get so tickled at Pastor Phelps. He's always telling stories about him and his wife. Well, he said he decided that this was the girl for him. And he said we were sitting on the couch in her mother's living room, and he said I looked over at her and he says, "I love you." And says she looked at me and she said, "Well, thank you."
Thank you.
No response.
No response. Just, thank you.
Well, thank you.
And then, in other words, no, I love you back.
No.
Not then.
Oh.
And he was just a hillbilly boy from West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
He's pretty polished now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He knows his Greek.
I heard him pull some of that grammar business on you too.
On me?
Yeah, did you miss it?
No, he did it in the sermon.
Yesterday, he had, or today, I mean, he gives about that first and third person and.
Yeah, and the couplets and everything else. I
Yeah.
know. That's what I was talking to you about.
My battery's about to die.
Actually, I like it when they do that,
I do too.
I do too.
because it does explain the thing a lot better.
It's alright?
Uh-huh. It's moving.
It always hits that, great.
Yeah, that
Are you
old
in mode?
heater thing,
What?
Okay.
that electric heater thing
You're paused?
down there that you bump into.
Oh, have you been the whole
Oh.
time?
Oh, you don't take those things out.
Because I'm still getting credit for them.
I gotta go plug mine in.
Go get your record.
And if